We have reached playoff time for girls high school flag football in the state of North Carolina. We just completed our first and second rounds this past week. And here are a number of plays from one of those game sites. A lot of them involve some contact plays this week for us to discuss as we move along in the playoffs. Good luck to all the teams, the officials, the fans, the schools as they continue their playoff runs this week in the third and fourth rounds in North Carolina. And good luck to our playoff teams and crews all across the country. And without further ado, let's get into it. All right, this is our flag football equivalent of the tush push. So we have a bunch formation here. You can see it is fourth and one, fourth and about one here. And you're going to see our quarterback take the snap and then just reach the ball across trying to get a first down. Now, when we have these short yardage kind of bunch formations, some things that we want to look for. The first one is we need to make sure that the snap is legal. We have to make sure that this snap receiver is at least 2 yards back. And it appears here, if you go from where the football is, we've got 1, we've got 2, we're right at 2 yards. So I think we're legal here on the snap. Should we get any closer, I think maybe we end up having an illegal snap there, but we appear to be 2 yards back, so we're good. And then after the snap, we're expecting a run here, and we have the potential for contact, right? Lots of times when we get bunch plays like this, you will see multiple defenders up on the line trying to build a wall. This one, there's just one, so there's not going to be as much here. But we want to watch for these offensive players firing off into defenders. And, of course, we need to watch for defenders trying to push through the offensive players to get to the player with the ball. Now, let's see what happens. Okay, so we don't get a ton of contact here. Again, there was just one defender. So the offense, they're creeping up a little bit, which is perfectly fine, as long as they don't initiate contact into a defender. This left blocker appears to be the one closest to the defender, and she stops moving forward and sets in a screen blocking position. We look pretty good there. And then we see our runner. And actually, as I'm looking forward, as I'm looking a little more at it, the one thing I would watch on this screen blocker, we've seen this in a couple clips, is we look like we're in a good spot here. And these are going to be tough to see, but we can see her elbows. So the question would be just, is she shoving forward with her elbows? That would be the one question here on the blocking legality. Now, again, I don't see any, even if she is moving a little forward there, I don't see a lot of impact. It looks like the defender gets around right there. But if we judge that blocker is initiating contact with the elbows, we potentially could have a flag there. That's going to be a tough call with the amount of people we have on the line. I do think as a referee, this might be a play. Normally we're 7-7 back. We look to be a little deeper than that. If we know we're going to have some contact, some play along the line on the short yardage, we may want to try to get up in here just to see a little more, be in a better spot to judge that. Now, let's talk about the zone to gain. So we have 4th and 1. So our question then is going to be, is this a first down or not, right? And it's, we have no angle here. It's close when that flag gets pulled to where the football is. It appears, she gets her flag pulled just on this side of this 30-yard line and is reaching across. We probably have a first down. Line judge, as soon as the ball's snapped on 3rd and 4th and less than 5, get to the zone to gain. And that's going to give you a clear picture across that line to see if the ball is crossed. We get the right call here, I think, on the first, but I'd also love to see our line judge come up and sell this, right? This is a close play and an important play. Come up and sell this as first down, first down, first down, or short, short. That's going to help us sell this call to both sides. Each week we've talked about contact on flagpoles. Here's another one. You decide if this should be a foul on the defense. All right, so we get a catch here. And, I preface this with every video. We are going to have contact on flagpoles, right? It's literally our defenders are contacting the offensive players with their hands to attempt to pull the flag. That's what flag pulling is, right? So just because we have some contact and just because we have a player that goes to the ground does not mean that we have a penalty, right? We are going to have incidental contact here. Things we are looking for potential penalties would be excessive contact, or pushing somebody to the ground, grabbing them, holding them, and turning them to the ground, or just restricting them to pull a flag. Those sorts of things, tripping somebody, those sorts of things. But we have to think about, really who is creating the contact and who is legal at that point. So let's take a look here one more time. All right, so we get a catch here by the receiver, and then the receiver is attempting to split two defenders here and go in between. Obviously, that's legal. We can see this defender's reaching for the flags, and I think she's gonna miss. And then number 5 here we can see is also reaching for the flags, and then our runner goes to the ground. So our question really is, is this contact by number 5, the defender, is it excessive or is it just incidental? And just because this runner goes to the ground does not mean that we have a penalty. I think to me, looking at it a couple of times, it looks pretty incidental. We got hands going to flags. There may be a little bit of a pull there or a hold there as she's trying to grab them, but it doesn't appear anything excessive. The runner, ends up going to the ground as she's trying to make a cut, but really, seems to lose her balance. And oftentimes we're going to see that from runners as they're trying to make moves in and out of the defenders. They're off balance, and even a little bit of incidental contact could cause them to go to the ground. I think this is a good no call here. As we set up for this next play, keep an eye on the far sideline in white. All right, so we see that player with a late substitution here. All right, so we're setting up. We have a defender for white that attempts to substitute out. She runs off the field, but the substitute coming in is late coming on, has now entered the field, but appears to not cross the line of scrimmage when the ball is snapped. So she's on the offensive side of the neutral zone when the ball snaps. She would have to get all the way across the yellow puck to be legal here before the ball is snapped. We get a good flag from our line judge, and this is a live ball illegal substitution penalty, right? So let's talk about some things that can happen here. So by rule, when this sub goes off, obviously that's legal, going off on their side. The entering substitute needs to get on the defense's side or their side of the neutral zone. So they'd have to cross over the yellow puck prior to the snap. Now, when she's on the offense's side here, it is not an encroachment penalty, right? You'd think maybe that it's a dead ball encroachment penalty. By rule, it is not. It is a live ball illegal substitution. So we throw the flag, we let the play go. It's a 5-yard penalty. So good job here by the crew recognizing that we had that player coming on late that did not get across the neutral zone. All right, let's keep an eye on our blocking here on the offensive line. This is another one of those kind of bunch formations here from the offense. This one, instead, it's not really a short yardage situation, just a normal offense. But keep an eye on the blocking. You're going to see a blue player end up on the ground. All right. We'll watch it one more time. And again, you're going to see a blue player end up getting contacted and going to the ground up here, right there. And we get a flag from our line judge. Again, so when we're talking about contact on blocking, we are looking for who initiates the contact, right? And as we slow this down, you're going to watch this blocker here in white. And she clearly just gives kind of a shoulder shrug to our defender here. Our offensive player is clearly moving into our defender, creating contact. Clearly enough contact for a flag. And we get one from our line judge. These are the ones we have to get. These are the obvious ones, right? So good job here by the crew getting the obvious call. That is clearly an illegal block on the offense. Sometimes it's not how much contact a player makes, but the impact of that contact that creates a foul. Keep an eye on our blocker and our rusher here right around the line of scrimmage. All right, so we have a flag come in from our referee here, and the call is going to be illegal contact on the offense or illegal blocking on the offense. So we'll back it up one more time, and we will see as the play starts here that we have one blocker and one rusher setting up. Our blocker right here appears to be in a pretty good position, right? Legs are roughly shoulder width wide, arms behind their back. We're all good at this point. But we'll see as we slow it down and move forward that as our defender or rusher tries to go around the blocker, our screen blocker right there sticks that left leg out. And there's definitely some kind of contact here. Not a lot, maybe, but enough contact to trip the rusher. Rusher goes to the ground. We clearly have advantage gained. So that's a good flag there from our referee. And again, we're looking for extending body parts to create contact. So this knee is outside of the frame of our blocker and is moving into the defender. Good call here from the legal block on the offense. On this play, we're going to get the flag football equivalent of a basketball pass and crash play. Take a look at this. All right, let's back it up a little bit. So we're going to get a run here to the right from the quarterback. And it looks like she's going to make a backward pitch right there. But if you see this defender that is in front of the runner, she's going to get bowled over here. All right, so we clearly have contact on this defender. So let's break down a few aspects of this play. So we know that players can throw backward passes at any time. So the first question is, if we're looking at the pass, is this pass legal? And I think clearly she's letting the ball go right here, and the initial direction is backward. So we have a legal backward pass. Now, mechanics-wise, whether or not this is a forward-backward pass, that belongs to our line judge. And this is tough for us in three-person crews because you are making a call, all the way across the field. So line judge, we'd love to see you staying even with the runner because that forward or backward pass decision is yours. So we should have a backward fist here for a backward pass, indicating that from our line judge. Now, so we get the backward pass, and then we clearly have contact here. And so our question is, who is this potential foul on for the contact? So we'll watch again at full speed. So who's this foul on? If you said the offense, I think you're probably right. Our defender is in a legal position, right? Legal position, established spot on the field, in the path of the runner to pull the flag. At this point, our offensive player, the runner, needs to avoid contact with the defender here, but instead we get essentially a charge right through her torso, and that's clearly enough contact for a foul. So I like an illegal contact on the offense here. Now, again, who can help with this, right? Because this is the tough spot for us in a three-person crew. Our back judge should be right, up in here. This would be a good play for our back judge to catch this contact, right? The back judge is watching, is in a position to see this defender and see this contact. It should be right about here, just off screen. So this would probably be a good flag from our back judge. Our referee is doing a good job of hustling up to continue to help on this play. So if we really could get a flag from any of the three officials here on this contact, but we definitely have an offensive legal contact on this play, but a lot for us to officiate. Watch it one more time here. But these are the types of contact calls that we definitely want to get. I want you to watch the blocking on this play right around the line of scrimmage. All right, did we see anything illegal there? We've been getting this question quite a bit. When it comes to screen blocking, pay attention to our snapper here. And right about there. All right, so when it comes to screen blocking, so we know that our screen blockers, they can have their arms, in a number of different positions. They can have them down at their side. They can have them behind their back. They can't cross them over their chest. But our key here is that as an offensive screen blocker, we can't initiate contact and we can't extend our arms, our legs, our elbows, etc. into a defender and make contact. And I know it's slowed down here, but you can kind of see our blocker here has her arms over her chest, but then is going to extend out her elbows and is clearly initiating contact into the defender. Those are the types of blocking stances and postures that we want to address. Right? She's fine here. We're fine here. But when we extend and push, that's what we're looking for a potential foul. Now, again, other things, other factors may come into place here on whether or not we have a flag on the play, impact, advantage, disadvantage, that type of thing when it's not a safety foul. But that's the type of indicator we want to look for from a blocker, is extending elbows out into defenders. We will see actually a great spin move on this play. The only problem is that she swipes an arm right after she makes the spin. Let's take a look. All right. So this is a spin move. And when we talk about spin moves, again, they are completely legal. It is completely legal to spin. However, it is an indicator for us as officials to watch for flag guarding, because oftentimes when players spin, their arms are out of control. They come at or below the waist and have a tendency to hit defenders along the way. So we'll back this up here just a little bit. We get a great run here after the catch, and we'll see this spin move that splits these two defenders. But I want you to watch the contact made on this defender here on the left. So we get the spin. All looks good here. Arms are up high and tight on the ball. All good. That's a good position. Completely legal. But then as we come out of the spin, watch this left arm. The left arm comes out. And now we have this arm making contact with the defender trying to pull the flag. It prevents that defender from pulling the flag, and we get a flag guarding call. We do a good job here of our referee continuing to officiate, right? So our referee has responsibility for the quarterback, but then once the quarterback has released the ball, is no longer threatened, we want our referees to continue officiating and closing in on the line of scrimmage, right? And the three-person crew, this back judge is a long ways downfield from this kind of short area play, and our line judge is looking all the way across the field. So a referee does a good job here of being able to help, and it's on the sideline side. There's really no way that our line judge is going to be able to see this. Our back judge may get a look here, but nice job by our referee here of continuing to officiate, spotting the foul, and making the call. I often get questions about runners being allowed to jump, whether or not they can jump, and if that is automatically a foul, as it is in some other rule sets for flag football. We're going to see a perfect case play here. So you're going to see a runner go to the right side, and they're going to have a collision near the goal line. Let's take a look at what happens. I know it's far away, but I think we can clearly see what happens here. All right, so we get a runner that obviously is jumping and jumping toward the end zone here. Now, by rule, jumping, diving, spinning, these are not illegal actions by rule. They are completely legal in of themselves, right? So you can jump as the runner, you can dive as the runner. However, you're responsible for the contact that you're creating. So if you jump into somebody, dive into somebody, then we potentially have an illegal contact foul on the offense. And I think that's what we get here. So we have our runner, and it's a little tough to see, but you can see the head of our defender right here in position to pull the flag in between the runner and the end zone. Our runner is going to jump in the air and actually lands straight on top of our defender here. So she jumps straight through the defender and obviously creates a lot of contact. We get a flag here for illegal contact on the offense. That's clearly a good call. So just remember, you can jump. You just can't jump into somebody as she does here. So we get a good illegal contact call on the offense on this play. Thank you for watching this video of playoff game film from North Carolina. Good luck as your seasons continue and finish across the country, and we'll see you next time.